Hello, this is Ideas to Inspire Ideas, and yes, I am the great pretender, pretending that I'm a creative person without having to create anything at all, except for these videos. I have a tendency to do both sides, this versus that concepts. Rich versus poor, tradition versus progress. This one is science versus religion. What have I gotten myself into? The structure of this episode will be all over the place, starting with my perfect world stupidity, but then escalating into some really bat-crap crazy ideas. Because boy howdy, starting with the storyline, the main character, Danny Boy, unimportant reference, is trapped in a war between two neighbouring villages. A floating society of airhead scientists and the more grounded, spiritualistic, naturalist, what's the word? Cult. That's it. So yeah, he's got to choose between the two. Now, I'm not too vain to understand that my audience is mostly indie developers or even hobbyists, but I've actually thought through the structure of the development team that's best to work on this kind of game. I'm suggesting 3 teams of at least 2 to 5 people, even if the main director is in all groups. All working under the same aesthetic design. One group will be the scientists and one will be the religious group. Then when those 2 groups are finished, the third group will try and meld them together into a finished product. Yes, this is pie in the sky thinking, but it will help both sides get represented well. But you know the point of both sides centralism isn't just to praise the good stuff of both arguments, but acknowledge the bad stuff and mix and match for a solution. It's a big world, we don't have to do wholesale one or the other. Even though I suggested 2 separate teams, I would like a bit of mixing of the ideologies between the two. Both villages have their own NPCs that you can talk to and explore their opinions, but some of them do share opinions with the opposite village, such as one of the religious NPCs hides a science lab in his house because he is curious but scared to come out to his family. Or one of the science NPCs seeing all the science as miracles, and certain elements showing up in both towns, like Leonardo da Vinci with his paintings versus his inventions. Or the Albert Einstein quote, "Science without religion is lame, religion without science is blind." Like in a protest scene, each side are only using half that quote to justify hating the other half. Politics. In researching this idea, I found the 4 types of religious people, then slightly changed it to apply to both sides, so it's just the 4 types of people in this game. The bereft, people who hope for short-term personal gain. The curious, people who want to learn and know more. The seekers of benediction, people who hope for long-term personal gain. And those who have true wisdom, people who actually love and know who they are. Whether they are on the side of science or faith depends on whether they have virtue or socrity. In the link below, I can't remember what that is. Breaking both sides down even further, on the religious side there's spirituality versus following the church. Spirituality isn't just believing God, it's peace of mind. Religion is following the word of God as told to you by other people. And on the science side, it's trying to make a better world versus science for science sake. Recently I even had an existential crisis about science. With everyone ignoring medical health about COVID-19 lately, I started wondering, why do people distrust science? What part of media has told people not to listen when lots of films have shown the scientists are right? Completely forgetting that I actually started this series by suggesting a scientist character with no heart. Way to go, me. And then as you're talking to the NPCs, you are actually collecting weapons in the battle system, which is presented more as a debate. You're using their talking points either against them or against someone else, which was actually inspired by a documentary, Bill Nye Debates Ken Ham. If you've got 2 hours to spend, it's worth a watch. For me personally, Bill Nye won in the end, but make your own decision. In fact, I actually anagrammed their 2 names to create the leaders of each village. McCain, fatherly head of the church, and Nilbalai, the energetic but childish scientist businessman. In amongst the residents of the religious village are Joseph and Joseph, who are heavily influenced by the song Miracles by the Insane Clown Posse. Yes, throughout this series I've shown interest in My Little Pony, Anita Sarkeesian, and now ICP. I am a man of many controversial interests. Also, yay! Finally, something for my alt-right viewers to enjoy. Now get out. But yeah, these are your Timon and Pumbaa stand-ins. You find them in a forest clearing, just surrounded by butterflies and animals, chilling out, enjoying nature, smoking weed. But then late in the game they drag you into a plot to sneak into the scientist city and kill Nilbalai, because they hate scientists for explaining miracles away. Even though some people can take miracles from the scientific explanation. It's the question of whether you help them blow up the city or try to stop them. But whatever you choose, Joseph and Joseph get caught. McCain, I still don't know how to say that name, banishes them from the village, but tells everyone to prepare in case of an attack from Nilbalai. Eventually war does break out, and you end up in a situation where both men need your help to save them, and you have one of 3 choices. Save the representation of science, save the representation of faith, or look around the environment and put together a solution that you learned from both men in order to save everyone. That's going to be the hardest option because it relies on player perception, but if that's the solution you find, Danny Boy tells everyone to go screw themselves and walks off into the distance. An enlightened man, knowing that both sides have their problems and neither should be trusted fully. Which, in reality, is kind of the truth for most of us. Neither one way or the other. Just stuck in the middle. Kind of a depressing ending, actually. I don't know how to finish this video. Having my own existential crisis. Thanks for watching. This is my verbal declaration that I will not sue anyone for using the previous outline to create their own work, regardless of how much fame or money you might get from it. I'm definitely not the kind of artist who thinks I can own a concept. However, I would like to see what comes out of this video just for comparison and curiosity. If you do make something or find an existing piece that's similar, please let me know through Twitter or Facebook or email, and I'll happily check it out. And if you want to see the ideas I am working on for myself, please visit my Patreon page for samples and previews, no payment required. Happy creating, Bard Riley out! One of the religious NPCs secretly hides a meth lab. No, they don't. Not in a kid's game.